pedal to the metal.
Brace yourself for the #1 rated daytime bootstrap SaaS Honey Badger themed podcast in the Pacific Northwest. This is FounderQuest.
I've been using Hook Relay more over the past week. I got to say, there's nothing as useful as using your own product to make you see places where the product can be improved. So I've opened a couple of issues. Going. Yeah. And I mean, they're not major things, but it's like, oh, it would be nice if this was different. It would be nice if that was, different. And it's been good. So I'm looking forward to having those things done, making the product a little bit better. And we talked about spending some more development time on Hook Relay over the couple next coming weeks and months, because we've had some customer requests coming in. So it's always a good feeling, like when people are actually using it and saying, oh yeah, I like it, but could it do this? Like, oh yeah, it could do that. It's fun. I love it. I love being a developer and just building stuff. So much fun.
Yeah. Looking at our dashboard, we've got a few new users coming in. Got some a little bit more revenue than last time I looked at this, so that's cool.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
It's the season for it. The Pacific Northwest summer is long gone. And we're just into the dark wet now. We've gone through spider season. Wet. Yeah. I mean, this was right. You've got the summer, you've got spider season, you've got dark wet.
Is that from that list of Pacific Northwest seasons or whatever that's 15 seasons long or something?
You can't call me out on that. I was hoping to
okay.
I was hoping to plagiarize.
We should put that in the show notes if we can find it, though. That's a pretty good one.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I don't remember them all, but
yeah, I'm definitely more productive in the wintertime because I'm not outside playing, right? I'm inside hunkering down from the rain and the cold. And so I'm like, might as well do some code.
Yeah.
I mean, personally, I kind of stopped going on my morning walks in the summer because there's too many amateurs out. And I start again once the fall comes, once it starts getting dark and drizzly. Those are my favorite morning walks.
Nice. Even in the rain?
Yeah, especially in the rain.
Yeah. I need to get out more.
Yeah, that's why you have a nice Gore-Tex raincoat, some nice boots.
Yeah.
It's all about the gear.
Yeah. It's I don't know. It's just very pleasant. I like it. The summer here, it's nice, but after a while, the sun just starts getting to me. It's just I can't escape it. It's just boring into my eyeballs.
It is truly a thing around here when the sun has been out too long. It's been too many sunny days. People do get a little stir crazy. They're like, I need some wet. And so the first rainy day comes and you can just feel the relief. I don't know how to describe it, but it's just the sense of community is relieved that, things are back to normal. There's precipitation again.
Yeah. I came up with a theory and I have no idea how valid this theory is. So I'm just going to throw it out there because it's unfounded. And I realized this winter or this fall as I'm going out, it's okay, the reason I like this is because everything's more muted, right? And I get overstimulated very easily. So, noise and light and all that just kind of does it to me. But when it's dark and gray, for some, I don't know, this may just be my perception, but the water vapor mutes the sound a little bit or something. It's not quite, everything's all the edges are more round and pleasant. Nothing is quite as sharp and stabby.
There's fewer birds chirping.
Yeah, and Seattle is the Pacific Northwest in general. It's just it draws in all the computer nerds, all the all the people who just like it here and like that kind of environment. So it's do we all just, we all have sensory issues? I don't know.
Oh, that's why all the tech companies are in Seattle.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I think I need to get an office still because I think Ben's right. I also would be more productive in the winter, but working from home in the winter with kindergartners is a different experience than working at home in the dark by yourself.
It's a bit of a challenge, yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, you turn on the lights while you're working. You don't just leave them off.
Yeah, sometimes I leave them off.
Oh, yeah?
If you want
that's because you're a real hacker.
Yeah.
I've been doing more marketing stuff lately, so I turn the lights on.
Right, yeah.
I use light mode.
I mean, you probably forgot how to touch type, and use Vim with all that marketing.
Shut up, John. You shut up. You shut up. You shut up. I get to say that, not you.
So you have to have the lights on. I'm sorry.
Oh, there. Yeah, I don't have one of those keyboard with the blank keycaps.
Like, truth be told, I've been doing a lot less programming than I used to as well, and it's started to bother me a little bit lately. So I've been trying to find ways to get back into it, because I'm like, I'm gonna like forget how to build a Rails app if I don't like do some work.
We do have like 300 items in our backlog for Honey Badger, so
It's true.
sure could find something to do.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just weird, like having like a legacy Rails app for so long. Like, even when you are working, like even when you do work in it, it's still like, I don't know, like it's, you know, I'm like not utilizing a lot of the knowledge that I built up. Like we all built up working on client projects, like where you're constantly solving new problems and like building things out. Like a lot of those decisions are already like have long been made in Honey Badger app. So it's like, yeah, it's weird. It's a little bit different.
Yeah, that's been nice about having the side project, because like starting a new Rails app and making new decisions and trying the new things, the new toys, like, you know, Hotwire and, you know, Stimulus, Reflex, all that kind of stuff. Like it's been fun. But hey, you know, maybe, you know, talking about client work, like, hey, take on some client work, right? We could do something completely different. And
I think it's an option for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that could be fun. Just
the good old days. Yeah.
Build a greenfield app. Yeah. I think we're talking about like the problem of like what to do with your time when your like app is like 9 years old and stable, and and you have all this time on your hands, and you know, want to still build new things, right?
Yeah.
I've got a question, like y'all probably don't know because you haven't been freelancing for a while, but to all the freelancers out there, do people still hire developers to build like, you know, Facebook for X? Like, because like I just remember working on so many like Facebook for so-and-so, Facebook for nurses, Facebook for, you know, whoever. And it turned out the Facebook for all those groups was Facebook.
Right. Was that before Facebook groups? That era?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, I think so.
It's interesting.
It's just weird.
That was like our era. I mean, like, for sure, like our era of freelancing was the Facebook for X era.
Yeah. That's because like the social media or like the social network had just come out, that movie about Facebook. And so everybody wanted to be the next Facebook, you know, by copying Facebook for some.
I was thinking back to the kind of projects that we built, you know, we're talking about the Facebook for X stuff. And I was like, what was my favorite project? And the one that I can remember, so I guess it's probably my favorite because the one I remember the most and remember the most kindly is the Montessori project that we did. That was a lot of fun. Yeah. I remember started a lot of work.
That project's still around, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Still out there.
Like,
still making bank.
Mm-hmm.
It's got to be like 15 years older by now or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I wonder if it's still on Rails too.
Yeah. Caitlin was doing some shopping for the kids last night, and she was looking at Bowden, which is a kids brand, or mini Bowden. And I don't know if that name rings a bell with you, Ben, but it does with me, because they were one of the affiliate shops with Tada Shop.
Yeah. Flashbacks, man.
I have all these like, I've had all these like kids clothing brands like just like programmed into my brain for the last 10 years now. And now that I actually have kids, like they're all resurfacing. So
that's weird. That was like another era, which was it wasn't the Facebook for X. It was the product aggregator.
The aggregator.
Like we're going to make a website that aggregates lots of products across, you know, for different companies. And we're just going to be like an affiliate. And we're going to be really good at SEO. And
that trend was like kind of, I mean, Amazon was definitely around then, but it was like, I think these days, like Amazon is now where everything is pretty much aggregated like that. So this was like, I don't know. It seems like pre Amazon, like at least in their current scale.
Yeah. I mean, Amazon missed out on that sweet acai berry affiliate money though. Where it's like you got, I forget what it was, like $50 or $100 if you as an affiliate could like sign somebody up for the scam acai berry,
like an MLM
subscription service.
Yeah.
Well, it was just affiliates, but it was a scam because it was recurring charge and people weren't familiar with getting recurring charges yet. So,
well, you don't want to boost your health just once.
Oh no.
And then lose out on all those benefits. So you're that's like that's in the interest of the customer, Star.
Exactly. One of my friends worked at the call center for a bank, and like half of her calls were just people being like, what the hell? Like, why am I keep getting charged for this?
If all of your support requests start with what the hell, you work at a bank.
Yeah, there's a lot of fun things to do when the projects are new and it's all greenfield. But then, there's also fun things to do when the projects are 9 years old. I was pleasantly surprised on Monday morning to find that our database server had failed on Sunday morning. I was like, oh, really? That happened? But our high availability setup actually worked, and the failover happened, and it was just like nothing happened at all. I mean, these days, of course,
pretty wild.
You would not even set that up, right? You would just use RDS, or you would, there's like a gazillion Postgres as a services out there now. But, back in my day, we had to push the bits uphill both ways, right? So,
well, yeah, imagine if the database server failed in like year 2.
Yeah.
Back on Snickers.
Yeah. That would have been
Snickers.
Rough.
Yeah. All our servers were named after candy bars.
We're still, I love that we're still on first name basis with all of our old servers.
Yeah. My favorite was Trix though.
Trix. Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense why that whole hosting platform didn't really work out for us, because Tricks are for kids, Ben.
I know. But then my kids were young enough then. It made sense.
Yeah. We should do a client project just for fun. And money, obviously.
Yeah, obviously, right? Yeah, of course you can do it for funsies, but of course it's got to be for money too.
Yeah. The other great thing about client projects is like you get to build them and then you get to like never see them again.
It's like being a grandparent, right? Where you can send the kids back to the parents. It's like, oh, we'll have some fun. We'll spoil the kid and then send them back to be the parents.
Yep.
So yeah, you can
pretty great.
Grow this little Rails app and you can have some fun with it and then send it off, and
yeah.
Like a couple of years later, you're like, oh, I wonder what happened to little Timmy, and so you Google him and he's dead.
Yeah.
Poor little Timmy.
Unfortunately, I think a lot of my old client projects are in that category. But I think that's just kind of the way it goes.
But I remember the primary struggle that we had though with the ones that didn't die, the ones that weren't the poor little Timmies, was like, what do we do with it now? Because we liked building new things, but we didn't really like running them. We didn't really want to be on the hook. And so it was like, it's great. You have this new app, go enjoy, right? And they're like, yeah, but what about if something breaks? It's like, oh, well, good luck,
Yeah. I was thinking about that recently. Like, does that still fly? Like, what do people do these days? Like,
I don't know. I would like to know.
If you have a non-technical, to be honest, you had a knack for like finding those people, it seemed, Ben, because like you'd find these people that are just like non-technical. They just have an idea, like, they're like Star said, like the whatever Facebook for X people, but like you just build it for them, and then they would kind of just be like, now I'm a tech founder now.
Yeah.
Can I tell a funny story about this? So I used to live in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's where I went to college. I lived there for a little while after. And one day I was at like a local coffee shop, and there was this guy who actually I saw a couple times at the coffee shop, who just was chatting up the barista, chatting up everybody around him about this app idea he had called the Love Button, which is just, oh my God, like that name. But it's called the Love Button. And it basically, it's not a dating app though, which is like, you're winning when you have to explain that your product name isn't what people think it is originally at first glance. It's not a dating app. It's like you can put in like, what do I love to do? I love carpentry. So I can like press the love button. You have to press it. It's important. And then he didn't say this, but I was sort of imagine like a slot machine type, spinning type thing, like whirling. And then it pops up the people nearby you who also love that thing. So you can stalk them.
I was with you right up to that stock point.
I mean, that's I added that part, but I mean, we've seen what happens to the internet. We've seen how things go.
It just like has their contact information. Like it's
yeah, it's a way for people to have uncomfortable interactions.
So it's like chat roulette, but in real life.
In real life, yeah. And I'm just sitting there like, why the hell would anybody ever consent to that ever? But maybe I wasn't a target market, you know?
maybe not. Just trying to think. You definitely want to involve a map of nearby well-lit locations for people to meet up.
Maybe you just don't love anything enough to press the button. You know, maybe you like really have to be into something.
And then it just shames you. It's like, hey, what's the matter?
I mean, like, to be fair, like Craigslist exists, Bob? And like people do like respond to all kinds of things on Craigslist that I'm sure are not in well-lit locations. So, you know, maybe this love button app has like a pivot or something.
Yes. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he was going to pivot it to Grindr. Who knows?
Yeah.
Well, you know, another option to just building would be buying apps, right? We could hang out on MicroAcquire and or Flippa or someplace, and you know, for these developers who built a thing and don't want to run it, just buy it, and then we can run it.
No, I think there's probably something there potentially for us because we have some of the experience now that maybe they didn't. You know, someone that just build something to a certain point. So, and we have a marketing engine, so we could potentially like acquire something and then plug it in to our existing systems. So that could be fun. Like, you know, I mean, like this is like, instead of, you know, like I got a friend in construction and him and his dad like flip houses, you know, like that's the thing they do. Like, but our flipping houses is like now flipping SaaS apps, I think, like, because, you know, that's like our, maybe someday you'll be flipping SaaS apps with your boys, Ben.
We'll have a show on TV about that. You know, let's take it to the next level. Instead of just, you know, buying these apps and flipping them, let's get investors. Let's get some limited partners up in here, and we'll use their money to go buy the apps, and then we'll run them for a while, then maybe sell them. Then we can be like those cool kids that are out there like buying all these SaaS apps and doing the investment thing, right?
Yeah, I like it. These are good ideas. Like,
are private equity firms the cool kids?
It depends on who you ask.
I guess you're right. For some value of cool,
right? If you ask the private equity firms, they will say yes, they are the cool kids.
Yeah.
There's a lot of new types of private equity these days, it seems.
Yeah, we need to
all the micro stuff.
Exactly. We need to take advantage of this new micro pipeline, like, you know, Tiny Seed and Calm Fund, right? We need a pipeline. Like, okay, those are the feeding into the pipeline, and then we do some magic somewhere along the process, right? And then out comes bigger companies, and we make money somehow. Yeah. It's kind of fuzzy, but I think we can make it happen.
If you just hook all those platforms up to each other in a circle, you get a infinite motion machine.
I like it.
Oh.
It just keeps getting bigger and bigger until somebody goes to jail.
I thought you got like an Ouroboros. Is that how you pronounce that? The snake eating its own tail?
Oh, yeah.
Or we could go in a completely different direction. I saw a tweet from Patio 11 this morning where he was referencing a tweet from Sweaty Startup. And if you're not familiar with Sweaty Startup, you really got to go check that out, because that's some cool stuff. Like, he hangs out on Reddit. He's cool beans. We'll put some links in the show notes if you can check it out. But Sweaty Startup dude, he bought like a storage company, self-storage company, and like applied software to their process, because like they were still like, you know, pushing paper around or whatever. It was old school. And then really like juiced that business and made it pretty cool investment. Yeah. And so thinking, we could do that. We could go old school and get all these old school businesses that are, you know, not online, and apply our marketing juice, and
I'm down.
Tear it up.
Yeah. Just first of all, though, you can't introduce Sweaty Startup Guy as Sweaty Startup Guy. He's the tomato guy, right? Like this is the guy that was like trying to sell, like was like bragging about how he could like whatever, like grow a tomato farm to like $1 billion or something.
But he was sweaty startup guy before he was tomato guy.
Well, because that was that was an epic troll. Did you catch that at the end?
No, I didn't.
It's pretty amazing. Like,
but
yeah, it turns out that guy really that really not, like he knows his shit apparently. And I mean, like probably also know, like I'm like having like followed him a little bit, like seen some of the things he said, like I might be inclined to like listen to him on the tomato thing. Maybe I can make a fortune in tomatoes, you know?
As long as you don't live in Seattle where it rains 9 months out of the year. Yeah, no, Sweaty Startup, like I've been following him on Reddit for the longest time. And I just love, obviously, not every idea is genius, right? But I do love his approach. Like get in there, do the work that other people aren't willing to do, or that people are just haven't really caught on to yet. Like one of his classic things is like, just go start a pressure washing company, right? Go knock on your neighbor's doors and see if they want their driveway pressure washed, and then pressure wash it, right? And then you do that and you get some experience and you provide a quality service, and lo and behold, now you got a business, right? So I think I just like his ethos of just go in there, do the work, and try to make it happen, as opposed to, right, sit back and complain or whatever. It's just kind of like I just like that mentality.
I would hire that person, by the way, because I could use some pressure washing. Like the moss around my house is just out of control.
For real. Again, Pacific Northwest.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's pretty cool. I mean, I liked the thought of like, I mean, it feels like there's so many business problems out there that are in the real world that need a software solution and will eventually have one. It just like, it seems like in order to solve those problems, you have to have some sort of like actual like proximity to the problem. So like maybe the way to like get into those problems is just to go out and start doing more stuff in the real world and see where the pain points are.
So you're saying if you want to build software for dentists, you got to go become a dentist?
Yeah. Or I don't know, like at least like, yeah, work in reception or something.
Or have a lot of cavities.
You just go like do stuff just be a repeat customer. Yeah.
Yeah. I just love how there's so many ways to make money on the internet. It's amazing.
Yeah, but the acai berry opportunities are long gone. Those dried up a long time ago, unfortunately.
I think we'll see more. We'll definitely see more internet scams in the future, though. So hope is not lost.
You mean like NFTs?
Oh, thank goodness.
Oh, shots fired. I really want to see just like a smart contract MLM. I mean, like I think there might be something out there, but like I want to see one. I just want to see one succeed, Well,
you have to be the change that you want to see in the world. So that means you have to do it yourself.
I know. I don't know if I can. I just don't understand that world. Like I don't know. Like
yeah.
I'm sure I could go like build, like comprehend the technology, but I don't know. I'm just not motivated to at all. Like I've kind of tried a little bit, but yeah.
Yeah, I'm still the old guy shaking fist at cloud stage of NFTs. I'm like, I don't get it. Get off my lawn.
Yeah. Well, there will be something there, I'm sure. Not in NFTs necessarily, just in the technology in the future.
One of my sons, who's really into tech and keeps on top of these things, every time I say NFT, he's like, money laundering. I think that's
really?
An automatic response. It's like, well, okay, I'll trust you.
Get that kid a Twitter account.
That's the interesting thing is like my kid's not into Facebook, not into Twitter. They're just not social networking.
They're for old
TikTok?
people.
Absolutely hate TikTok. Yeah. It's like, it's the opiate of the masses. It's like, well, okay, that's technically true.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really like TikTok. It really depends on like where like who you follow and all that. It's, it's just like Twitter in that
really
regard.
Yeah. I signed up for a TikTok account recently just to check it out and see like where the rabbit holes go, and kind of scared me a little bit. But I mean, maybe that's because I was like trying to see like how bad it was versus how good it was. So maybe I should do a different experiment where like I only
the trick is
click on cat videos or whatever.
The trick is to like follow the things that you like, and then you'll get more of those. And if you follow things you don't like, you'll get more of those.
Yep.
So you said it was scary. Was this more or less scary than kid YouTube?
I haven't really, I don't know. Like, I mean, just the whole idea of kid YouTube is scary. So it might be just different things, but just the algorithmic bubble that TikTok seems to create. Like, I mean, all of those services have that, but like, I don't know, maybe it's because like the videos are so short and there's so many like strangers that you can end up following or whatever. But it just seems like you could, like, someone who doesn't understand how that works could easily end up in some sort of like alternate universe. But again, I haven't used it. Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting to me because it's like much more than other services. You can really see the algorithm at work.
Yeah.
Like you can be like, okay, you're like testing me to see if I like this carpentry videos where people take these very expensive looking hand planes and then take minutely thin shavings of very expensive looking wood. So you watch the whole video. So I'm going to give you like 3 more of those and we're going to see how you do on those. And then like sometimes it gives you things that you're just like, nope. So it's like, I just don't want the algorithm to see that I'm watching this. So I'm just not even going to try.
Yeah. You have to tend your algorithm.
Yeah.
But in order to do that, you have to understand that that's what you're doing. Which I think we're in a good position to do that.
But also it's like,
yeah.
The talk tech, what am I saying? The content on TikTok. Oh my God, it's in my brain. I say is like, everything I say is just going to become some variant of TikTok. The content I found is like, I don't know, like I am much happier like looking at TikTok just because it's like, I don't know. I guess I'm just looking at happier content.
The content is so like the whole like the niche aspect of the content, like you said, like the narrowest type of video, like a hobby, but where people are like, like whatever, creating very thin strips of wood, and there's some sort of like, just like they can feed you very specific types of videos to see, like, and then you could get into that like specific like subset of like whatever woodworking video.
Yeah,
it's not you're not even into woodworking at that point. You're just into this like very like niche part of it.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure I'll get bored with it eventually.
I don't think you will.
No, it's an ever renewing stream of just delicious content.
I trust in the algorithm.
To my face.
Yeah.
You trust? I trust in the algorithm too, Josh.
To keep you engaged.
Yes.
Yeah.
Y'all have been listening to another episode of FounderQuest. If you want to review us on Apple Podcasts or whatever it's called these days, go for it. If you want to write for our blog, and we've got a Write For Us page on there at honeybadger.io/blog. Scan for the Write For Us link. That's your first assignment. Until then, see you later.
FounderQuest is a weekly podcast by the founders of Honey Badger. Zero instrumentation, 360-degree coverage of errors, outages, and service degradations for your web apps. If you have a web app, you need it. Available at honeybadger.io. Want more from the founders? Go to founderquestpodcast.com. That's one word, where you can access our huge back catalog of episodes. FounderQuest is available on iTunes, Spotify, and other purveyors of fine podcasts. We'll see you next week.